Hello and welcome to today's reading. Happy birthday, Geminis. This is not necessarily a Gemini reading, though. This is just a collective reading, but I did want to take the time to say happy birthday to the Geminis. Okay, so I was doing a reading for myself a little bit, and then it kind of came out just collectively, so pardon the pre-poll. As you know, I don't normally do that for my reads, but this one, that's how it happened. So what's going on here is there's kind of a lot of talk, okay, that's going on, and Spirit wants you to be strong through this time, okay? You also may have Leo, you might have an August or summertime birthday, okay? We also have a full moon coming up. So again, being strong in the midst of people having strong emotions, especially when it does come to talk, because some of this talk is just idle chatter. Like somebody's not using their head when they're talking about you almost. It's like, a wiser person would be, holding their tongue, like literally how she's like pushing a lion's jaw shut here. And you'd be like, oh my God, only a fool would try that. Well, apparently she knows how to do it, right? So it's kind of like you have this hidden talent somewhere, collective, and somebody's like idly gossiping about you and they're kind of being shown and they're feeling some sort of way about it. And that's why there's this overall energy of the tower. So this full moon that's coming up in Sagittarius may really be so again, Geminis, this might be impacting you more just because like Gemini and Sagittarius are opposite on the astrological wheel, okay? You guys are air signs, the sign of communication, right? The twins. So again, go out there and see those constellations that are visible, right? um, you might have to, go out of your comfort zone a little bit in order to do that, especially if you live in a big city or something, but maybe you could go to a planetarium. I feel like collective, you're very comfortable with yourself here with this Nine of Pentacles, okay? That's when the collective energy was really starting to come through, and it's like, okay. And I feel like for some of you, there's a King of Cups either in your energy, or you are this King of Cups and there is some kind of issue with finances where this person feels like what they have isn't enough, okay? I don't know if it's going to take a little traveling for this person to realize that what they do have is enough, and that's why it's in conjunction here with the Nine of Pentacles, right? Some people think like, oh, I can't afford to go on vacation. I have to be in this fancy place here and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, it does cost money to go places, but it costs money to do other things too. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to pick and choose, right? And realize that it's not always so bad on the other foot, and the other foot might be yours. If that makes sense. And other people are realizing this too, and that's why the tower is happening, and they're like, what? You know what I mean? Like, maybe collective, your apartment or wherever you're living at isn't much, but it's yours. It is your space. Nobody's bossing you around in it, right? You know how many people don't have that, right? So again, this could be you a little bit, this hermit energy where it's like people are mad, but it's like they're mad jealous. Because you don't have to answer to them. They don't get to boss you around because you're just like, okay, well, you can get off my lawn now. Bye. You know, it's your real estate. So, again, you might have some traveling coming up just kind of to give you some appreciation, right, of what you already have, okay? And the very first card that came out here is the Star, Aquarius. So that star energy, all the things that make you uniquely you, right? Some of those things we have in common with others. Some of those things we don't. Some of those things may be looked at as odd by others, like maybe as, well, you don't hang out with so and so. So, Where is it written in the handbook of life that you have to do X, Y, and Z? Didn't anybody tell you way back in school the only two things you ever have to do are die and pay taxes? Those two things are certain in life, right? Now there's people that like to try and evade taxes, right? And you can see what that gets them, right? Sometimes they have to get thrown into witness protection program, right? Because of stuff like that. Whereas collective, you don't have to do that. You're going to be celebrated, and that's what somebody cannot believe. It's like they see you living this life and they realize that you went about it like with hard work, right? And so that you deserve to be celebrated, not looked down upon. And that's what that image of you in their mind is crumbling. Okay. Um, it's also making you very attractive to others. Okay. So, you know, when I say be strong because, there's better coming, right? Don't let somebody who can't even use their head in the situation dictate, right? And kind of what's like some a negative aspect of, say, the Aquarius is, the maybe the flightiness, right? Of, oh, I believe that, no, I don't believe that, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, right? It's like, why are you getting upset when somebody else doesn't even know probably what they're talking about in the first place, right? you know like I was watching, it came up on YouTube, some Senate or congressional hearing, and one guy spoke, and then the other guy got to speak, and he's like, but I gotta say right now, what you said right then wasn't exactly true, and blah, 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 right? Okay, that guy actually has, on the record, blah, blah, right? And he can go back, roll the tape, right? How many of us actually have that, right? So, moving on and moving into this celebration is going to be really important for you, collective, to focus on, okay? And not worry so much about, feeling like you're labeled like a have not when you do have a lot of things, right? Okay, maybe this is how you feel after paying your tax bill, right? You're like, no, don't take any more of my money. Right? Those of us that, pay taxes, right? Which there's a lot of people that do. You know what I mean? So, sorry if you're watching, but Greece, I guess, is known for folks not wanting to pay their taxes, and that's why, in part, they have some of these budget shortfalls, or they have in past years. I don't know if they've ever solved that. That was, oh my gosh, over 10 years ago now when I was researching that topic for one of my classes for my advanced degree. Um, and yeah, it was quite interesting because, a lot of people look at, other countries as, oh, they have it so great, and oh, look, they're retiring early, and oh, blah blah blah, and everything's paid for, and blah blah. Yeah, well, but the less people working, and a lot of those places have falling birth rates, so it's, you have fewer and fewer people supporting the system, and a system is getting more expensive and more expensive as years go by, so you have fewer supporting a more expensive, like, you know at a certain point, you're going to hit the point of no return where we cannot sustain it anymore, right? Like, and I feel like, collective, that's where you're kind of like holding on to where what you have, right? And don't be sad because you're holding on for what you have. Like, there's somebody I know that used to, like, save all their spare change so they could go to this one event, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like people used to do stuff like that, and now it's like it's encouraged to, you know, um, entertain the opportunity and then worry about paying the piper later. Well, sometimes paying the piper has consequences, and that's includes people not knowing what they're talking about. right? You know, because then they're like, oh, well, they said that it was this many months, blah, blah, but I guess they didn't tell me how much it was going to be plus, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, now you're reading the fine print. Now you're starting to educate yourself. Now your face is going to start to show. And that's what's going to happen during this full moon. And that, again, is in part why some of these folks are facing the tower, because their little demon gargoyle face, snarling, snarling at the truth, right, is going to be showing here. All right. And you're just going to be like, hey, that's great. Catch me outside later, right, Dr. Phil? Bye. Bye. I'm going to go now and have a wonderful career, you know. Anyway. Um Not that I'm defending Bad Baby, but you know what I mean? Like, don't you think she was exploited a little bit by the media? My God. And, you know, here's the thing, there's like a whole, you know, online community of older, especially males, paying for content from female creators, certain kinds of female creators, right? And I feel like when she was saying like that, like, you know, hey, catch me outside. You know, because when I was younger, like when she appeared on that show, I remember getting looks from men, and it's like they knew I was, do you know what I mean? Like off limits. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, you're Mr. Whatever here in front of everybody, but yeah, catch me out in the street, you can be side eyeing me as I walk by. Okay? So cut the crap. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that girl has her money. And now she can fucking go and do with her life whatever the fuck she wants to do. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ. Was one thing you can say, she's enterprising. You know what I mean? Some folks get exploited and they ain't got nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? You know, it takes work out there to be a survivor, right? And that's the collective. I think that's why you got the strength card here. It's like, yeah, things get tense, things get intense, but you got to pull through. You got to pull through. You got to hang on to what you got, right? Oh my God, that Breakfast at Tiffany song. Jiminy Christmas. That was coming through so many times the other day. And I'm not talking about Moon River, although we do have a full moon coming up, but it was a song like in the 90s, okay? And he's saying, well, that's the one thing we've got. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I'm sad about this today, or this happened, and it sucks, blah, blah. Well, you know, the sun's shining. That's one thing we got, right? It's looking for that level of positivity within, right? That what lights you up inside, that little light of mine here, right? And you're kind of like, and you're able to kind of like shine it and show it for others so they can see how to lead themselves, right? And so for some of these folks, this travel here might be more of the spiritual journey, okay? Especially collective, if you are not really feeling the financial pinch right now, if you are very set, right? You might be like, you know what, it's okay to take my foot off the gas pedal a little bit. You know, maybe the office doesn't need me on Saturdays anymore. Maybe on Wednesdays and Fridays, I can make a promise that I'm going to be back home by 5 p.m. Okay. So that's going to start giving you some time back in a way, right? And to focus on, you know, things other than, you know, the work of being you. You know, we're like, oh, I don't feel good today. I got a headache. Well, take a Tylenol. I'll fix it, right? My hand hurts today. Well, rub some salve on it. That'll fix it, right? So, do you know what I mean? Because you're just like getting back to it. Because you know, Nine of Pentacles is, you know, it's kind of like you're getting it done, even if you're a little stiff, right? Okay, so I have these meditation cards now. Look at that, perfect timing. Nourishment. Okay, so think about what nourishes you. Okay, you might have some dreams about this. Your nourishment could come from, vacation time, spending time, just daydreaming, allowing yourself to daydream, sitting and reading, you know, uh, doing some kind of activity that allows you to um, kind of get more in tune, okay, with maybe some of that emotion that's happening inside that maybe sometimes we don't share, okay, because if we are in hermit mode, okay. Passion, yeah, this could be a passion of yours, all right. This again may require you to travel somewhere, like maybe you want to become an expert glass blower and there's a glass blowing studio in somewhere in California that you're like, I have to go there, whatever it is. Okay. Heart opening. Okay. So again, with this King of Cups, heart opening. So your heart chakra may be very important. Here's some rose quartz. Okay. So not only I feel like collective, are you passionate about whatever this is? It's like, um, it's not just for the sake of like a win or something. It's or of achievement. It's because you like really believe in it, right? And you would do this even if it's not like making you all the money, but you're making like enough to get by, right? You're like, okay, you're like, this isn't so bad, okay. And again, that could be causing other people to gossip literally about your abundance and be like, well, how are they getting by? Blah, blah. You know, and you're just like, I just am, just accept it. Like, why is that? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's kind of like, why is that? These people need to go heal if that's an issue to like allow somebody else to be successful, right? Like, why are you so butthurt about it? Okay. All right, let's see what the Lovers Oracle has to say about this situation. And then that will be the end of the reading after these cards are pulled. So thank you for joining. Please do subscribe if you want more from this channel. If not, at least do say hello in the chat or like the video. Remember, you do not have to be a subscriber in order to like the video. I cannot come to you now. So somebody is definitely staying to themselves. Collective, this might be you. And just maybe like, look, I have things to do that require me to be here and there. So, these feelings are eating me alive. So, yeah, especially if you are at a little bit of a distance to this person, you live apart, them not being able to see you, they feel like all tied up and pinned down like Frankenstein on the table here. But the passion is still there. He's like, and the fact that he can't communicate these feelings right now is like upsetting. Okay, so again, that full moon. So that leads us into the King of Cups. This person could have a lot of water in their chart. Yeah, this love is crazy, heart opening. This might be something where this person has not really felt this before. So this could be where they feel like a poverty of spirit, where it's like they're just not feeling good enough for some reason to like step all the way into it. Okay. They're saying they cannot let go of you. I'm not exactly sure who this person is because they could be, you know, just somebody who's after your abundance. So I'm just saying, whoever it is that comes around you, definitely be strong when they show up, okay? And if they're not there to celebrate you properly, then they can kick rocks, right? Their little demon face will show quickly. This person's saying, I don't know who I am anymore. So somebody is kind of maybe rediscovering themselves because they are taking a step towards healing. Okay. Um, so this person could be confused as well. So when they come towards you, again, be be strong. Maybe even hold your tongue for a moment, just because um, some of the things that they might say might not make sense. Kind of like those congressmen that when like one was talking and then the other one was like, "Excuse me, blah blah blah." You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you can't agree on the basic facts, right, then it's just going to be like a whole lot of this, and it's like, is that what you really don't want to let go of, right? And then it's like, well, then what is the tower? Okay, so then you got to start asking yourself those questions. So, um, yeah, just focus on kind of how you want to be moving forward, right? Because I think there is somebody suited for you, right? It just may not be this person at this time, right? And it depends on which kind of karmic it is. Because I'm getting like a couple different levels, like at least two different people, okay, that have both behaved karmically, all right, in your energy collective. Um, but they haven't forgotten you. And like I said, some of them haven't forgotten you because it was more like, you know, they never had it so good, basically, but that doesn't mean you're there to support their habit of putting you in a position of lack, right? And so that's where it's like you've stepped up into this Nine of Pentacles, right? Because you've already followed your passion, you've already followed your dreams. Some of you have moved away from this person, whoever this person is, where you're just kind of like never to return again, and then everybody lived happily ever after in your story, because it is now your story. It is not that person's story anymore. Okay, so again, this could be you telling this person, that's great, you want to talk. I just cannot come to you now. I'm kind of in the middle of something, right? Anyway, yeah, everybody has excuses, don't they? But so hopefully this reading has been beneficial. Until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye bye.